Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to talk about how do you get from a help desk related role into system administration. Often help desk related roles are really a good starting point for a career in information technology. The generic advice really is to work for a help desk, maybe do it for 6 to 12 months and then start applying for junior level system administration roles. Well, that is great in a way, but what steps can you really do to help to improve your chances of success and to potentially position yourself for better positions when that time comes, when you are ready to move into system administration? So with today's video, I will help you to get yourself positioned for this type of success and really help you to transition faster and easier into the role of a system administrator. Also, I will start sharing some funny or interesting tales from my own experience in these videos. So if you like that as well, please give the video a like so that I know that you want to hear more of these type of stories. But this will be towards the end of the video, so hang on. Let's have a look first of how you can transition as fast and as efficient as possible from a help desk related role into system administration. You have your first job in information technology and you work as a service desk or help desk technician. So what steps should you take to educate yourself further to really move into IT infrastructure and become that system administrator? Depending on the level of knowledge that you have, I really want to recommend like 3 specific areas of technology that you should focus on and where you want to spend some additional time studying, because these 3 areas can really make the difference when you go into your first job interview to become a system administrator. So the first area we want to talk about is networking and information technology. So network technologies. I cannot say it often and loud enough. A strong knowledge of networking is going to give you an advantage, not just to get a job as a system administrator, but also in the quality of work that you can deliver overall. Over the years, I have worked with too many aspiring system administrators that completely lacked knowledge in networking. So we're really talking about the basic fundamentals here: subnetting, the difference of private and public IP addresses, the differences between a Class A, a Class B and a Class C private address range. So when to use them and where and why. So that's really the basic understanding here. And there were really too many people that were just lacking the required knowledge. Also areas here with DNS and DHCP. And again, here I do not mean the basics really. But let's start just with the simple stuff like what is TTL and what does it stand for and what does it do and why is it important? Or MX records and the priorities that you can assign with different type of MX records and why would you do that, and so much more. BGP and what it does. If you can manage to talk at a really educated level about these topics, you are way ahead of the folks that only know like ping and traceRT, tools that they use working in a help desk related role. So that's where you can make a difference and you can take this a step further. So the competition, I want to say, they feel lost when it comes to things like netstat, NSLookup, telnet, and how to telnet into a port and see what response you get and why would you do that. So there's so much more in networking, of course, and I'm not a network engineer and I'm not pretending I am. So I'm really just talking upping up your level of knowledge 10, 20, 30%. So when you walk into those job interviews, that you can really hold a conversation with the system administrator and the manager on the other side. So the next thing I want to recommend here really is to focus on Microsoft Active Directory and Microsoft Azure Active Directory. I know there are those basics that you probably already know, but user and device management in Active Directory is a lot more than just disabling an account or adding it to a user group or making sure that the group policies have applied. So it really pays to go significantly deeper with Active Directory. Get a solid understanding of AD sites and services, replication, domain controller structure, and better AD topology. Think about what an AD forest is and really look at the bigger picture. Why do you need to know this? So then also the connection into the cloud and really connect on-prem Active Directory to Azure Active Directory. Other items are like connecting your Active Directory to Okta, certificate services, and of course Active Directory security. If you are looking for ways to identify what to learn and to study, look at the original Active Directory certification. So Microsoft now has integrated this certification into other certifications, but find one of the older study guides. And those are easy to get, they're very cheap, and it really helps you to get an understanding of certain areas that Microsoft is looking for and then educate yourself, because there's so much public information available about it. You don't even have to buy a book. Just go and YouTube it or find a good blog, read Microsoft's website. There's so much more that you can do to really elevate your knowledge and, again, separate yourself from the other people that do not go that far. So the third leg on the ground really is to speak about cloud technology and have the right knowledge there. And here I'm thinking of Microsoft Azure or Amazon AWS. You do not need to have pro-level knowledge for these technologies here, but a solid understanding of the infrastructure and the cloud as an example. That will make a difference. This will separate you from the other guys that are just coming from the help desk and all they know is help desk and just like, yeah, they know what the cloud is, but that's about it. So, and you do not have to go to become a pro in these areas. I mean, you can, of course, and go after the certifications, but I'm really just saying, take 25% of that what you need for a cloud certification and start studying it and not just repeat it, really understand it. That's the important portion with all of these. So with the cloud services as an example, I want you to focus on servers in the cloud, so machines in the cloud, as well as networking or security in the cloud. So those main areas, if you are able to really obtain some knowledge, understand it, and be able to hold a conversation and have some of that knowledge go into responses when you are in that first interview as a system administrator. That will make a difference, that will make an impression, and that really will help you to accelerate your career. You might even be able to move up from a junior level system administrator to a mid-level significantly faster, or maybe even apply for some mid-level system administrator jobs. Keep in mind, when you read a job description, that's like the perfect person that they're looking for. But in reality, if you are able to cover 70% of that job description, you're more than qualified to do the job. But now, before I share an interesting story out of my own time as a help desk technician, let's just do a quick recap. So you have or will have a role as a help desk or service desk technician at the moment, and you want to move into system administration. Don't just sit there and apply for jobs after 6 months, because that is considered to be an acceptable time frame before moving on from a help desk. Of course you can do that, and maybe you even should do it at that time and apply for system administrator roles after those 6 months. But you can do quite a few things during that time to set yourself up for more success until you reach that point in time when you're ready. And that's really, you have to feel ready. Don't just go because somebody says you should. You want to feel ready. And that foundation that you build, again, that is so critical. So strategically positioning yourself by adding specialized knowledge that I pointed out, that may put you into that position where you are not forced to go to the lowest hanging fruit. Well, you know what I'm talking about here. So you can potentially shoot a little higher and maybe even land a more interesting role or even a better paying role right off the bat. So now let me share a story from when I worked in my first role as a help desk technician at a software company. I know some of you have been asking for more of these type of stories in my experience, and I want to share this. So again, if you like to hear more of this, please give the video a like so that I know that you want to hear more about it. Anyway, for this story here, you just need to know that I am originally from Germany and I moved to the United States in 1998. So I speak German fluently, but back then when I started working here in the United States, my accent was significantly stronger. So back then I worked for a software company in their call center providing tech support on the phone to their customers. So calls often lasted between 15 minutes and several hours. Now one day I'm getting this call from a customer that was located in New York City. The gentleman was from Germany as well. So, and as we started talking, I could hear his accent, he could hear my accent, and we switched to talking in German to each other. And then he asked me to do the troubleshooting in German. He would really enjoy that and it would make it easier for him. So he was still struggling a little bit with English language. So we started troubleshooting the situation and I had to translate everything by hand, because that's one thing when you go through the training here in the United States, everything is in English. And it was just more challenging back then really to really translate it one-to-one into German and make it understandable for the customer. So this turned out to be a really challenging experience, but the customer insisted really that we continue on in German. It would be easier for him, even though he and I, we both could tell that we were struggling to get results out of the troubleshooting, because it's just too much of a difference. There are just certain terms that do not translate that easily, especially if you have like a proprietary software, and that was really not the easy part in that situation. So we carried on, and at one point I said, you know what, I just cannot do this in German anymore. I have to switch back to English to lead you to success, to solve this problem for you. So the call went on for probably another 20 minutes, and I was able to solve the problem and get the customer back into business with what he was doing. And so he hung up, and I added my notes to the ticket before closing this incident. So, but really, when you have to go through some quite complex troubleshooting steps in a different language, it's really not that easy. So if you learn something just in English and then you have to translate it, you don't really know what that other native language potentially has terms. You're also looking at different grammar from that perspective, and then the translation is just becoming more difficult. So for me, this was really one of the most challenging cases, less because of the technical issue, but more of the translation-related challenges that I experienced. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so as well. And then I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.